Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. It is 4:15 in the morning. I am making a pizza. I can't sleep. I want to record a video and talk to you guys today about the current state of Warlock in S4, later on in PTR, with it coming in a few weeks, for Destro, Demo, and AF in Mythic Plus, rating, talk about the builds, the talents, what's changing, what's not, and go from there. We're getting a lot of questions about how is Demo, how is Destro and Plus, what's going on with AF. So today, I want to answer all those questions, and well, yeah, I guess just hope try to clarify for you all. Now, there could be tuning coming. There could be a build tomorrow. I don't know. But with us getting a date a week ago or so, I would venture to guess there might not be a whole lot of tuning coming. Destro's pretty strong in Plus in a lot of dungeons. We'll look at that in a little bit here, actually. But the big thing about Destro, it's had this profile before. And with S4 being sort of like a fun meme kind of season, I wouldn't be surprised if it stays this way in nerfs coming. We'll see where it goes. All that, but yeah, let's get into the video. Oh, Week Wars add-ons, you want them? Discord, Twitch links down below if you want it for free, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, now let's do it. All right, so just getting right into it here, starting off with Affliction. Honestly, not a whole lot with AF's going to change in S4 from what we've seen so far. So for Affliction, the tier bonus that one is the Soul Rot one, the one we're playing now currently in S3. 2-piece, more damage, and increased duration by 4 seconds. The 4-piece gives you 3 stacks of Umber Fire Kindling whenever you cast Soul Rot, increasing Seed or Rapture damage for the next X amount of time. Right. It also extends your dots by 2 seconds whenever you Rapture, which is nice. It's sort of how it's similar to the bonus we had in Sepulchre, which increased dot duration and all that, but it's a good bonus overall. The fact that you can reduce Soul Rot's cooldown from a minute to half a minute by taking Soldier's Gluttony is strong. And for the most part, we're going to be ignoring Clash Tree here. Same talents, every spec for the most part, barring Plus or rating. But so as far as AF's concerned, honestly, in single target, you're looking at the same build for the most part. You're playing Siphon, Vile Taint, not a whole lot's really changing here. Soul Rot into Gluttony, Dark Lair, Haunt, Crescendo, Creeping Death, all this stuff, and Dread Touch. Now, some builds are opting just to not play Dark Lair. I've seen some playing Glare. Most are, some aren't, and fights where you want like Wrath of Consumption possibly instead. All that, I get it, I understand. I think Glare is still worthwhile overall, but you know, that will vary a bit depending on the fight, similar to what we have currently in S3. Looking at like the AF Raid Cleave build, honestly, pretty similar. We're playing now. You go into Seed, so with Soul Flame. Some builds don't play so, they just play Seed to apply corruption in certain spots. And these builds as well, at times you see no Dark Lair, you see Wrath of Consumption played over that. And then if you're looking at a plus build for AF, things are also similar to where they are now. You're playing Soul Rot, playing into Gluttony for that half-minute Soul Rot cast or cooldown, getting your 2-piece, 4-piece every half minute versus every 1 minute. Playing Dark Harvest in most builds. Most builds also playing Dark Lair, most builds also playing Haunt, and basically every build playing Creeping Death, Xavius' Gambit, and playing Doom Blossom. Now, I've seen some builds not play Dark Lair for Wrath. I've seen some not play Haunt for Crescendo. I've seen some not play Dark Harvest for Wrath, Crescendo, no Haunt, and a Dark Lair. I've seen a combination of things with these talents changing a bit. I think the best overall build likely is playing this, honestly. Giving you a half-minute Soul Rot with Dark Harvest every half a minute. It was buffed last patch as well. Doom Blossom, all that kind of stuff, Haunt, and Dark Lair. Now, the thing here that I want to hit on with AF is that if you only play AF, do it to it. AF is fine in Plus. It is the only spec in the game without without 0.1 title representation right now for S3, but I think that's really due to the fact that Demo and Destro is really good in Plus now too, are also, right? This is the build that's played for the most part in Plus in most scenarios as far as Affliction is concerned. If you want to play, the thing with this build is like you're playing a mass AoE build, right? You're playing Siphon Life here, number one, due to its interaction with Rapture, and how having more dots up means more Rapture damage. Also, Siphon Life better than AC in single target. You're spamming Seed as your main AoE ability, right? Seed with Soul Flame, Vile Taint for Agony applications, all that. You're playing Doom Blossom here. Doom Blossom is basically, as long as you have a UA active, extra Seed damage. You have very, very, very strong burst damage, probably the highest in the game, if not one of the highest specs in the game, when it comes to snap burst damage with AF, barring setting up with a few dots, right? Unlike Destro that ramps AoE with random fires and all that. Now, I've seen some players opt to play Dread Touch over Doom Blossom. If you like AF and enjoy playing AF and keys and you just want to play it and you want more single target, you can opt for Dread Touch over Doom Blossom, but The strength of Aff lies in its AoE. It has subpar single target, worse than Demo, worse than Destro playing, this build here for sure. Your single target revolves around Dread Touch, or as a good part of it at least, right? So if you're a jack of all trades, you can play any spec, and you have to play Aff and say, hey, I want more single target. I'm going to play Dread Touch with this build here. Just play Destro or Demo. That's my opinion. But at the same time, Aff is still fine to play him plus, right? But the overall largest build here, whether it's Tyrannical or Fortified, does indeed play Doom Blossom for the most part. Now, we'll see. Once again, not a whole lot of changing for Aff in S4. Same tier bonus, basically the same talents and all that, but tuning may still come. I think the main issue with Aff and Plus is likely more of a talent issue within this spot here, where you have like solid-esque single targets, or with like not as good AoE, or very strong AoE with Doom Blossom and Seed and Soul Flame, all that, but not very good single target. You can't really like hybridize the build very well without just hindering one or the other, right? And in the end, Demo and Destro are meta, or near meta for a reason, right? So with that being said, let's move on to Demonology. Now, Demonology also, like S4, has the same tier bonus. You're playing your S3 one, casting Demon Bolt, Demonic Core, whatever, applies a Doom Brand to your target. It does more damage at AoE if there's multiple targets versus single target, all that yada yada yada. You can have multiple brands active. Now, I liked the Season 2 bonus more, the one from Aberrus, where it gave you, a minute and a half of Grimoire, sync with your Tyrant. Grimoire was another Tyrant, damage amp, all that kind of stuff. I liked it more from a rating perspective. I initially voted for that bonus. However, I changed my vote to this bonus here. I like S2 more because I raid more. S2 being Grimoire Felguard, sync, all that kind of stuff, right? But I think this bonus here, I know it, is a more applicable bonus. It works in single target, it works in AoE, it works in rating, it works in plus, it works everywhere, right? It's a strong party, it's a good bit of damage in plus too, 15-ish% depending where you're at. It's just good all around. I wouldn't mind seeing it in War Within as part of a base talent tree, maybe replacing Doom, because hey, it's a very cool bonus, right? So either way, playing S3 bonus, and honestly, for Demo, from what I've seen in Sims and things, not a whole lot changing either. When it comes to single target, I mean, like, you're playing basically this build here, give or take, a point in Saxel, or a point, in Felsunder and things, in certain areas, whatever. Playing Soul Strike, playing Fellow Invocation, still playing Guillotine or Hatred over here, right? Playing Expendables and Tauren, Pack the Ant Mother, and the Naked Tyrant 2-minute build, right? Your best trinkets, talked about it already, are basically Whispering Incarnate Icon and Bloros, or Incarnate Icon and Naimu. Very similar to retail currently. Not a whole lot really changing there. Now, when it comes to Mythic Plus, also, not a whole lot really changing, right? Typically, I end up playing, get the right build here, typically I end up playing a point in Immutable Hatred over Guillotine most weeks. Guillotine is better and worth it in AoE, on Fortified and all that, but typically I play Hatred. I think Demonology's profile is pretty redundant, with just, Hand to Gul'dan cast, Spell Storms, Demonic Strength, Bomber Cleave from Shadow Invocation, Implosions, Dogs, all your pets, Felsunder, all that, yada yada yada. You have a very strong profile regardless, Doom Brand in AoE, right? But I will say, on Fort weeks, I'd recommend Guillotine, and Tyrannical weeks, probably Hatred. But either way, Demo in a pretty similar spot to where it is currently. The big thing with Demo is going to be just, juggling your Doom brands, making sure that you Doom brand the right target, all that kind of stuff, min-maxing them, and, just basically playing Doom brand. If you like Demonology currently on retail, S3, you're going to like it in S4. And similar to S4, or similar to S3, it's very strong in plus. It's definitely underrated. I think Demo is the best pug spec currently, like for Warlock on retail. People are playing Destro a lot because they've seen Destro in the MDI, doing these massive pulls, and it is good regardless on retail. But if you're not making these massive pulls in coordinated groups in larger keys, Destro loses a lot of value. Demo has that consistent profile from one pack to the next to the next. You have Dogs every 20. You have Implosion, Hand Cycling, Spellstorm with a short cooldown, Demonic Strength minute cooldown. You have Invocation basically every pull by casting Hand Gul'dans, right? Your Felguard is cleaving passively. Your Dogs can proc again with Stalkers, right? Just that well-rounded stack cleave profile. At the same time, solid single target. Not insane, but not terrible. If you play it well, you can prep tyrants from one pack to the next, and you just really eke out every little bit of value with Demonology. Now, one big thing worth hitting on here when it comes to S4 is that a lot of these dungeons are heavy AoE based, or have potential to be like heavy AoE with multiple packs being pulled at once. Algathars, Brackenhide, Naku Defensive, Azure Vault. Honestly, a handful of packs can be pretty heavy AoE based. Even Ultima at times, certain packs, you have things like Notheris, Halls of Infusion, RLP, which are sort of hit or miss. But you have a lot of dungeons that bring a really strong potential for Destro to be really good, right? We're still on Demo here, but as far as overall ranking is concerned, Demo is good. I think overall Destro is going to be better. We'll get to that in a minute here, but Demo is still very strong. It can bring that solid cleave profile, sustained profile versus Destro being very, very strong with 3-minute Infernal, but also in between packs, still strong. But, you know, if you're not pulling mass AoE, it's not as consistent as Demo. So as far as Demo is concerned, honestly, it's the same opener for the most part. The big thing here, like I said, just micromanaging Doom brands, making sure you're hitting the right targets with your brands, not, you know, wasting a core on targets that aren't Doom branded or I guess are branded and vice versa, right? So heading into a pack here, same thing as usual. Just cast a couple of Shadow Bolts, build shards when you're rounding the pack up, all that kind of stuff here. Cast my Grimoire. I'm just going to honestly cast my dogs here. Apply a brand with a bolt. Hand. I'm going to bolt again there for the brand. And just honestly hand a couple times here. Ocean, Tyrant, whatever. I'm going to pop my Nymews and go right into a Strength. There's my opener, right? Cast a couple Shadow Bolts here. This is bugged. Don't worry about that. They're being extended properly. Cast my Guillotine. All that. And honestly cast my dogs. Post expiration here. Right about now. Give or take. I'm going to hand one more time. I'm going to Implode. Now you can siphon there to apply more Doom brands, all that. We know we have cores coming in here. So we'll apply a brand there. Hand a bit. Hand again here. Siphon, brand, and just go from there, right? This is Demonology, right? The big thing here when it comes to Plus, the biggest thing when it comes to Demo and Plus, honestly, from what I see people asking, what's wrong with Demonology and Plus? Why am I not getting, you know, big damage? Is the fact they're not micromanaging Doom brands properly, right? I'm going to Implode here, my Imp's expiring. The big thing, they're overriding brands in a sense. By branding a mob, it already has a brand on it, right? Doesn't reapply brand or anything, just waste a bolt essentially when you have, you know, 1, 2, 3 targets here that aren't branded, right? Besides that, though, like I said, Demo has dogs every 20, Guillotine every 45. You're casting hands every, you know, 5-ish seconds, right? Alternating brands. It has that well-rounded cleave profile that Destro doesn't have as far as being consistent, right? So when it comes to Demo next patch, I think it's very strong, about the same as it is now. Sleeper, but still known to be very strong, right? With that being said, seeing the builds here, let's look at Destro. Talk about the big dog. What looks to be in S4. All right, when it comes to Destruction, this is the spec that is the highest overall potential in S4 when it comes to Plus and things, right? When it comes to the build you're playing, there's not a whole lot is changing compared to the build you played in S1 and S2, but it's not the same as S3. So the tier bonus we have is actually based around S1. Just consuming soul shards gives you a chance to get more crit. Your 4-piece increases crit strike damage from 200 to 212%. It's all passive, right? Now, I will say, I think most everybody missed the interactions with like Rifts and Kata and CDF in our current bonus. I think if we voted again on tier, Rifts would be close. If not, would possibly win as far as tier is concerned, but it is what it is. Can't vote again. What can you do, right? At the same time, this bonus is not bad, right? If you're a fan of Rifts, unfortunately they're gone. If you're not a fan of Rifts, well, hey, great, they're gone. I like Rifts, but two different profiles here, right? So the build that had Rifts in it, the build that played, you know, Rifts and Kata and CDF, that build brings a lot of funnel damage in S3, currently in retail, right? Because you have Kata applying Immolate to multiple mobs. So you have, like, you pop your Rifts, you have 8 Immolates rolling, however many you have out, whatever, right? At once, which can give you multiple Rifts back simultaneously, allowing you to funnel one mob, a Prio mob, and still cast Rain of Fires, still cast AoE spells, cast your CDF with RDF to extend your Immolates that are applied by Kata, making life very easy, cool synergy, cool quality of life, feels good to play with, all that kind of stuff. And Rifts are cool to hit, they do AoE as well, all that, a good funnel profile. We've seen it in the MDI a bunch, very strong, right? With that tier bonus being gone, though, you're not playing Rifts anymore next patch, unfortunately, barring tuning coming, right? You're likely playing a build that looks something like this. This is more or less the de facto 3-minute Infernal AoE profile everyone's playing in Plus right now on PTR for S4. Now, I've been playing with different talents here. Some are playing Scalding Flames. This is your best bet in single target, comparatively to like your other options here being Improved Immolate or Rolling Havoc. This is about a 6k DPS increase over playing 2 points in Improved Immolate. Improved Immo, larger, higher quality of life. Immolates last longer. At the same time, Rolling Havoc, if there's cleave fights, like bosses, you can get good cleave value, obviously, but no single target value. Very good in AoE. It's AoE versus cleave versus quality of life versus single target, right? Different options here. I've liked Scalding Flames the most, but hey, honestly, any of them work. I have to play with it more and see where it goes. I think this build's lacking a little bit of single target. So I've opted for Scalding Flames. I thought it was pretty solid. Now, as far as talents here are concerned, we are playing 3 Infernal. We're playing Crashing Chaos here. We are not playing Grand Warlock's design. I played a build like this with 2-minute Infernal. Honestly, not having Chaos Incarnate feels really bad in single target, and it feels subpar in AoE too. And on it, also, with Grand Warlocks being a flat CDR down to 2 minutes and not whenever you spend shards, giving you that 1-minute Infernal at times and Bracken Hide and Alcathars and whatever. You can't have that anymore like you had in S1 and 2. It's just not worth playing without having access to Chaos Incarnate and other options here. It's sad, unfortunate. I know I love 2-minute Infernal, but unfortunately, in my opinion and most others, not worth it anymore, right? I've been playing a build like this. I've been playing a point out of Crashing Chaos and into Diabolic Embers for more single target. It gains me about 500 to, I think about 1k single target playing Embers versus 2 points in Crashing Chaos, but at the same time, consistency in Embers versus, you know, more burst damage with double Crashing Chaos in single target, buffing 8 bolts by 70 versus 35. It's sort of up to you. I want to play with it more and see where it goes. I played with Burn to Ashes a little bit as well over Embers. Embers is the better bet, higher damage overall in single target with a point here compared to Burn to Ashes. So I've played this build a bit, once again some variance maybe in certain spots, but let's take a look at it in combat. And for those that haven't seen Inferno in a while compared to Kata and everything, let's look at it here and look at how strong it can be in AoE. Because once again, Inferno gives you shards based on the number of targets hit by your Inferno or by your Rain of Fire. It also increases its damage. And when you're in dungeons like Alcathars and Brackenhide that have 20 mob pulls, it gets pretty wild. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I'm sorry, I'm dumb, it's 5 in the morning. The Destro single target build that's simming the highest is currently this build here. You're playing 2-minute Infernal, you're playing Chaos Incarnate. Now, there's Soulfire here, and there's Internal Combustion here. IC is currently higher than Entropy on retail for me by 2k. The higher haste you have, the more IC does, because IC's damage is based off Immolate ticks. More haste, more Immolate ticks, more IC damage. I'm not going to play Soulfire, I don't think. I simmed a build that was, well, I simmed this build here, taking point out of Soulfire and 2 points out of Immolate, going here, and it was like, I think 400 DPS behind the Soulfire build. If that's the case, I'm not playing that. I'll play this any day of the week. But at the same time, having improved Immolate means a longer, I guess, ease of play, whatever, with internal combustion. So we'll see where it goes. Maybe it is worth just playing Soulfire there. I don't know. Could just put a point in Sacrifice here and see where it goes too. I didn't sim that, but this build looks spicy to be fair. Improved Immolate, internal combustion, and all that. We'll see. But that is the single target build, and Cleave build will change a bit too, also with Rolling Havoc and things like that. So, like I said, let's look at the AoE build. So, if I have it here, I think this is the build cooking with, maybe. This is the cook, maybe. One of them. This is, yep, this is the cook right here. So, Double Crashing Chaos, Chaos Incarnate. We're playing Rolling Havoc here at this build of Mass AoE. Chaos Bringer, Purple Infernal, right? Like I said, we're going to hit 5 targets here in Beldraken, but you'll see pretty quickly the shard gen and damage I can do. It's pretty intense. So I have drums here. I do. Cool. I have the right gear on. Sounds great. I'm going to drums. We're going to go in. So tanks running in, pulling the pack. A couple Immolates up. I'll put down my Infernal, Potion, Iridius Fragment, Havoc. A couple more Immolates. I'll Conflagrate twice. Why not? Rain of Fires. One Incinerate and watch the shards and damage just pour in, right? So there's an Infernal. Conflagrate again. We have like 4 rains rolling at this point. We're over 1 million DPS already. Catch a couple Immolates here between. Immolate, Rain of Fire, Conflagrate, Rain. This is self-buff too. I don't have a flask on. I have no food, no flask, only a rune. We're over 1 million DPS, and we're climbing again with Havoc coming back up, right? in 5 targets. Factor in 15 more targets here, like an Algathar's or a Brackenhide or whatever these large pulls. You can see how wild it's going to get, right? A large portion of damage is also Rain of Fire based, right? So the builds that play 1 Crushing Chaos and like Embers instead don't burst as high necessarily in AoE, but dungeons where it might be more single target based boss wise, like Algathar's for example. First boss, big cleave obviously. Second boss, single target. Third boss, single target. Last boss, also single target. Barring pulling trash onto these bosses, which you can't even do second with third boss, right? I guess even second boss either. Barring pulling trash on these bosses, you're not going to get any rolling havoc value. And at the same time, like that consistency, depending on duration and things, might matter a bit more, which is why some builds I've offered to go like double scalding, no rolling, and 1 point here, 1 point in embers. So we'll see where it goes. But as far as like rankings are concerned, I think Destro next season looking very strong, best overall with this dungeon pool coming up. But Demo, not too far behind, like this a little better when it comes to like low mid-tier pugs, not pulling, you know, a million packs at once. And then Aff, like, not terrible. It's still playable, but like when you have Demo and Destro being so good, and Aff has these problems with single target, AoE and things, it's hard to justify it, barring just playing solely Aff if you enjoy Aff, right? Yeah, that wraps it up, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully helped clarify any questions you might have about the current state of Aff, Demo, or Destro in the current point of S4 1026 PTR. And yeah, I guess we'll go from there. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised we're getting S4 in, I guess, 2.5-ish weeks. We're getting Alpha before then, if it, you know, follows suit with the roadmap Blizz put out a few months ago, I guess. But not a whole lot's really changing, I guess. We already had all the dungeons in S1 and 2, which have been tested, barring tuning. The tier sets, S1, 2, 3 have already been tested. Classes aren't changing a whole lot, and the raids aren't getting an affix. So honestly, it's all sort of there. So we'll see where it goes. Like I said, honestly, Aff, not changing a whole lot. It'll be good on certain raid fights. I'll be making a video on that next week or so, talking about on a fight basis, looking at logs, all seasons, talking about where to play Aff, Demo, and Destro. Destro looks pretty good in plus. A lot of AoE, mass rain of fire spam, different build than current S3 build, but still very, very good. And Demo, honestly, once again, still very sleeper in plus, I think. For those groups that aren't pulling 10 packs at once and doing insane AoE and higher keys, Demo is still very, very good in plus. Aff isn't like terrible. It just has that weird, you do big AoE and bad single target, or you try and play more single target build and do above average AoE, but Demo and Destro is better. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, like always, Week Wars add-ons, links to Twitch and Discord down below if y'all want them. They're for free for you guys. At the same time, before I end the video, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons for also supporting Patreon. Thank you a million times, guys. I really appreciate it. Looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below in the video description. Now, Blizzard mentioned that Alpha will be hitting before S4, and we're getting S4 in, I think, like 2.5 weeks, give or take, the 24th, I believe, something like that, of April. So I'm guessing this week, probably tomorrow, I guess today, when this video comes out, maybe, I don't know, whenever, at some point, Hero Talents, hopefully being unveiled this week. Next week will be Alpha, and the week after, S4. It's going to be a busy next few weeks and months, and honestly, before we know it, we're going to be in worth it. So stay tuned. A lot of content coming. And there will be guides also for S4, because Destro and Demo, they're all changing a little bit, I guess. So guides to rehash things, all that, new builds, and yeah. So all that being said, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.